As I have said before in my previous videos, I didn't want to spoil anything to give people time to play through it for themselves because it's no fun getting spoiled. But with that being said, let's get started, and spoiler warning starting now. At some point, Asmodee disappeared from the Temple of Space. After her disappearance, Nihilita opened his eye after countless eons of nescience and came to understand the truths of this world. By doing so, he defied Asmodee's will, abandoned his duties as Watcher, and left the temple. Malanta, however, remained in the cage of suchness and assumed control of the temple, condemning Nihilita as a traitor while rigidly enforcing his creator's laws. In Asmodee's absence, the Shades began introducing objects they found interesting into the exhibition halls and permitting minor changes. Renova installed the Maranasati caskets to guard the apathetic interval, while Nibirius, Renova, and Easteroth commissioned Venibia to create a Sumerian desert complex from memory, resulting in the present-day desert pavilion. Driven mad by longing for Asmodee and the perceived corruption of her laws, Malanta sought to destroy everything to its proper state. He punished the temple's inhabitants by trapping those in the Mahavai Pulya chamber between pages for blurring the line between history and fiction through their novels, reducing the people of Liu Ying Academy to ink blots trapped within paintings, and turning the inhabitants of the desert pavilion to stand while exiling Maugi for defiling the laws of space. Over time, the temple's laws began to falter, and the boundary between the Temple of Devat weakened, causing domain keepers to fall from the heavens onto Windrest Peak. Seeking to free the Temple of Space from Melandra's tyranny, Nihilita wanted in a secluded spot in Windrest Peak for someone capable of fulfilling the task. While Romilda was staying at the local sanitarium, she encountered Nihilita during a midnight walk. He entrusted her with the juvenile Watcher Dex and asked her to liberate the Temple of Space. After arriving at the temple and witnessing the suffering of its inhabitants under Melanta's tyranny, Romilda sacrificed her memories to create the path to the heavens and confronted him. When the two failed to reach an accord, she promised that her younger sister, Zietlind, would one day come and defeat him. Romilda later returned to Devat with her memories erased, while Malanta, in a fit of rage, destroyed half of the corridor of nothingness and severed the path to the heavens. During the World Quest series, A Long Day in the Mountains. The traveler and Paimon meet Zietland and later Nihilita, who recognizes the traveler as he knows about their encounter with Asmodee at the beginning of their journey. As he once did with Romhilda, Nihilita entrusts Dex to the traveler and sends them to the Temple of Space to free it from Melanda's control. Inside the temple, they meet Historia and help him gradually restoring the 3 exhibition spaces while liberating their inhabitants. Although Melanda attempts to stop them, he ultimately loses control and turns the sky and the temple structures red. Afterwards, he cast the traveler, Historia, Zietland, and Dex into the apathetic interval, but they escape without abandoning their desires by destroying the Maransanti caskets with Dex's help. After returning, the group re-establishes the severed path to the heavens by sacrificing Zietland's memories, which merge with the remnants of Romhilda's to form a stable path to the cage of suchness. Traversing the corridor of nothingness, the traveler experiences the fantasies once shared by the 2 sisters before finally confronting Melanda. After being defeated by the traveler in battle, Melanda realizes that all creations became free the moment Asmodee disappeared. He admits that his actions such as exiling Melgi and severing the path to the heavens have triggered his self-destruction. Although he insists he only wished to correct the temple's inhibitions. Correct the temple's inhabitants. I don't know why I keep saying that other word. He ultimately confesses his jealousy of Nihilita's freedom and his desire for Asmodee's approval before ultimately self-destructing, directing his final words to Nihilita. In Windrest Peak, there are 6 points of interest. The first being Devil's Cut. Devil's Cut is a tavern in Normanport that is owned and operated by Groovy. Its name makes it a counterpart to Mondstadt City's Angel's Share. The second is Fragrant Whispers. Fragrant Whispers is a flower shop operated by Alodia. The third is the Knights of Favonius Base. The Knights of Favonius Base is the Knights base of operations in Windrest Peak, focused around the Arranged Company. The fourth is the Knights of Favonius Ruins. The Knights of Favonius Ruins are the remains of an ancient battlefield beneath Dornman Port, where the Knights of Favonius fought the Abyss. Players gain access to the ruins via the world quest Winds Beneath the Tower of Silence. The fifth being Shattuck. Shattuck is a restaurant owned by Bentham and Millhaven. He sells simple food and cooking ingredients. The sixth sell simple food and cooking ingredients. In addition, a new boss was added with this update called the Watcher Fallen Vigil, and the description reads as such. A shadow construct born from the overflow of the mighty primordial being, though enthroned in the pillar hall high in the heavens, it will in the end fall into the mortal world once it opens its eye. To act in the interest of one's private desires, rather than in obedience to the will of the one above, is a sin no less grave than the destruction of the world itself. Yet, if even the messenger tasked with the delivering the edicts of the world, of the Lord of all gods, cannot discern the will of that capricious being, the difference between reverently upholding the sacred law and wanton acts of blasphemy then becomes as vaporous as aether itself. The Watcher does not know why the Master left. Only the eternal punishment remains, and the in-between where everything is in stasis. A shadow construct born from the overflow of the mighty primordial being, a watcher who once dwelt in the highest heavens, yet was cast down into the mortal realm for daring to open its eye. A watcher was meant only to stand in silent vigil within the pillar hall of the world. Any inquiry that transgressed the ordained order was deemed an unforgivable sin, tantamount to seeking the world's annihilation. As sovereign of the world's watchtower, it wielded the authority bestowed by its creator, the power to correct all matters of innovation and evolution. After ending the countless eons of nescience, it finally chose to open that eye, defying the will of its creator, beholding both the falsehoods and the truths of the world. The Watcher does not know why its master departed. Only the eternal punishment remains trapped within a stagnant interstice of time. The open-eyed, also known as Nihilita, or the Watcher of Nothingness, is a watcher of the Temple of Space, and was created by Asmodee for the purpose of maintaining the status quo in the temple. He was created alongside Melanta, and they were named them after the two things Asmodee could at least deal with: nothingness and melancholy. Eventually, Asmodee disappeared from the Temple of Space. After her departure, Nihilita opened his eye. After countless eons of nescience, and beheld the truths of the world. In doing so, he defied Asmodee's will, left the temple, and abandoned his duties as a watcher. Rolanda, however, remained in the cage of suchness, steadfast to upholding his master's rules and condemning Nihilita as a traitor. person to fulfill the task. The Gauge of Suchness is a sub-area located in the Temple of Space. It is the highest point of the Temple of Space where the Watchers dwell in order to oversee the temple. It is separated from the temple by the Corridor of Nothingness. Here you can find a note written in 2 languages. The language used in the upper text is completely unfamiliar, and the text reads as so. Your containment facility is rather ingenious. It took me years of careful tinkering from the inside before I finally managed to slip out, though I trust that will not shock you too much. I may only be a novelist, but I have wandered across many worlds and devoured countless mysteries and detective stories. So a sharp mind is practically part of the job. If you happen to find this note, do relax. The containment vessel should still be intact, I think. To be honest, the days locked inside were so unbearably dull that I ended up doing something rather productive. I finally worked out the ending to VM. Even so, I must say that what you did was rather unfair. The universe may not share a single code of laws, but locking someone away without so much as an explanation seems a little unreasonable, does it not? You did not even allow the border authorities to speak with me. So now you tell me I entered illegally. That is rather amusing, given that I have already received royalties in your local currency. By now, the publisher, Yai Publishing House, if I have the name right, must have readers searching everywhere for me. Then again, after all these years, I doubt anyone still cares how the story ends. This message was written in 2 languages, the language of the Andromeda Empire and the local tongue. The 2 scripts are printed together to reduce the chance of misunderstandings. The Gauge of Suchness was originally the residence of Asmodee and her watchers, Nihilita and Melanta, from where they resided over the Temple of Space. To get an audience with Asmodee and leave the temple, one had to construct the path to the heavens and the Corridor of Nothingness. This required offering up all memories and wisdom so that no knowledge would be taken from the temple of the mortal realm, and the temple's hidden truths would remain hidden. The Corridor of Nothingness is a point of interest and instance located in the Temple of Space. It separates the Temple of Space from the Gauge of Suchness via the path to the heavens. It is unlocked by progressing through the world quest, The Final Judgment, in series A Long Day in the Mountains, Chapter 3. And with that last little piece of info, that concludes this lore session, or fact reading session of Windrest Peak and the Temple of Space, and I hope it was interesting, or maybe a good refresher, or that you learned something. It was a good refresher for me because I feel like this quest fed us a lot of information, so I think it to make so many audio cuts. I chose a really bad time of the day to record this video, I guess. I've never had this issue before, but there was a guy outside revving his very loud and obnoxious car. There he goes again. He has been doing that and driving back and forth for, I kid you not, at least an hour. I think more, but at least an hour. It usually takes me about a combined effort and time of maybe at most 40 minutes to make a video, and this one has taken me over 2 hours just because of how many times I have had to pause because I want the audio to sound good. I hear him coming back. I hear him coming back. Okay. It's pretty quiet right now, but I don't know if he's working on it or testing it out, or I don't know, but it's very obnoxious. Nobody wants to hear that. And I guess it's my fault for trying to push through and record the video, but this is the only time I had today. I just got back from a vacation, so I'm trying to get this out before I have to go back to work tomorrow. So, but anyways, with that being said, I hope that this was intriguing and interesting, or maybe just relaxing, and I appreciate you all for watching. I love the lore for this area, so if you guys want me to go more in depth about it, let me know. I will do my research and look into it. But that's going to conclude this video. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.